So this is the Melnor. It's the 4-zone automatic water timer. I chose this actually over the Orbit timer because I've heard some bad reviews. I actually did decide to get the Orbit timer, and when I did, I had a leak coming right through the seam here. So I actually ended up returning it back to Home Depot, and now I purchased this. I'm really happy with it. I've been using it for about a week now. It hasn't given me no problems. It's very dependable. Pretty solid product. Batteries go in the back. You actually have to press and squeeze these. And I actually had to use pliers because it's really hard. That's probably the only bad thing about this. You really have to press hard. Pull this out. It takes 2 AA batteries. Once it clicks in, it's sealed, and it's pretty much waterproof. This part gets connected into the faucet. It's really nice because actually you can remove that netting if there's any trapped debris in it. And it really forms a nice seal. Very durable. And I like the front. It's very, it's got a nice feel to it. So 4 zones. I actually got this zone capped off because I'm not using that. You don't have to cap it off. Just make sure that you don't program it for zone 1 if you don't need that zone, or zone 2, 3, or 4. Whatever zone you're not using, you don't program it because the water will come out. So the way it works is that the old style actually had a dial, and you could dial between these. Now it's actually all digital, and it's pretty easy. You just cycle through your choices with this little button and arrow. This actually gives you the choice to go back in time, forward in time, or scroll through the days. The zone 1 through 4 is 1 here, it's to the left, 2, 3, and 4. It would have been nice if they would have marked it, but eventually you'll know which zone it is from left to right. And each zone, 1, 2, 3, and 4, has a choice of 4 different times. And you set your times. They're called cycles, A, B, C, and D, A, B, C, and D. So essentially, you actually have 4, 8, 12, 16 different times that you could set, total of 4 zones. So basically, you got 4 times here, you got 4 times here, and you have 4 times here and 4 times there. So that's the way this works. It's fall. I'm actually I reseeded, and I went ahead and I'm going to be using short spurts of water. I'm not using, probably more than 15 minutes for each cycle. It's going to be pretty quick watering, and I want to set it on every day of the week. So that has a choice too, what days you want to set it. If you want to skip a day, or if you want to skip 3 days, you could do that too. So this is your clock you're going to set. It's 24 hours. You could do military time or standard time. You water a day, what day you want, what time the water is going to start, and how long you want the water to go on for. So let's go ahead and show you how we reset the time. You press and hold OK for about 4 seconds, and then that's going to reset. And then once that resets, just be very aware that if it doesn't say AM or PM here, then you're probably in military time. Again, I can't stress enough that when you're picking out the zones, make sure you know what zone you're choosing your water to be cycled on, because water will be coming out of one of these. If you don't have it hosed up, you're going to get a lot of water wherever you're watering. So this is your time. You get to choose what day you want. So in my case, well, today's Wednesday, so I'm putting Wednesday down, and I'm going to go ahead and select that it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So Wednesday, 8 a.m. The next step is to cycle. You're cycling your water day. And I want my water day here for zone 1 to be not to have any water. So I'm going to actually skip that zone. And the way I do that is I cycle into the next zone. I actually needed to press. I need to be back here again. So let's go back here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do water day, and we're going to hit zone 2. We don't want zone 1, we want zone 2. And the zone 2, once we do zone 2, we're going to hit each day, because I want each day, and the way you know it's each day is that you have squares. And it's very important, and what I didn't realize was that you end up having to do you have to scroll one more time. Once you scroll, it's going to tell you what day you want. Do you want once a day? You want it every other day? Or every 3rd day? So be very aware that there's one extra choice, and that's you want to do it every day. Okay, for me, I want to water every day. So that's all set. Then I cycle into my start water time. I want to go ahead and do zone 2, front yard, front half of my yard, zone 3, sorry, which would be my front yard, but the back half of my front yard. Okay, so in this case, this is going to be zone 2, and I'm going to set it for 10 o'clock in the morning. So I just go ahead and scroll through this until I hit 10 o'clock in the morning. Once I hit 10 o'clock in the morning, then I'm going to go ahead and cycle for how long I want that water cycle to be. I want it for 10 minutes. Again, I'm only watering the seeds, and I want to water the lawn. I mean, I do want to water the lawn, but you know, the seeds is what I'm concentrating on. Once I'm done, then I hit auto. Now it's all set. I'm going to go ahead and cycle. And for my next zone 2, cycle B, I want to go ahead and hit the cycle B. It's important to know that you're hitting the next cycle, because if you don't, on the water day, so it's day 1, cycle 2, I gotta go this way, and hit cycle B, because otherwise you're not gonna be getting the proper time. So in cycle B, I want 2 o'clock. So we're gonna go to 2 o'clock. So it's gonna be 2 o'clock p.m. And once we hit 2 o'clock, then I want to set how long I want to do it for. And again, this is pretty much this. Once you get this, it pretty much repeats. But I'm going to show you 2 zones so you get an idea how this works. I'm going to scroll. I'm going to say how long I want this for. I'm going to want it for 15 minutes now, because the sun is pretty much directly above my lawn. It's a little warmer, so I wanted to actually have 15 minutes instead of 10. That's all set. I'm going to cycle to auto. Wait for that to click, and then once that's done, I cycle back to my water day. Okay, here's my water day. It's day 1, cycle 2. I'm going to stop my water. Okay, and I'm going to go to cycle C. You can see cycle C and zone 2. And this time I want to set my water for 6 o'clock at night. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll all the way to 6 o'clock at night. Okay, and then once I do that, I hit this again, and I want to do it for, let's say, 15 minutes. So I'm all set with 15 minutes at 6 o'clock at night. So you're going to see now how this goes through. 10 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday, zone 2 is the next start time. So it's always going to go back to the time, the date, and it's going to show you when the next water start time is at 10 a.m. zone 2. So that's how you can verify what zone or what time you're at. I'm going to do zone 3. So I can show you zone 3 real quick. And then you're going to see that both zones will be all set up for the time. So let's go ahead and start with zone 3. So I'm going to go ahead and cycle through here. And I'm going to go ahead and hit zone 3. This is important. Make sure you hit the right zone. It highlights it. You want to hit your days again. In my case, I'm doing a Sunday through Saturday, and it's going to be every day, once a day. And then I'm going to hit the water cycle for zone 3. Cycle A. On cycle A, I want to go ahead and do 11 a.m. I'm doing a different time because I don't want to have it the same time at 10 for this one. So in about another hour, the back half of the front lawn will be watered. So we're going to go ahead and do 11 a.m. You can press and hold it. So there we go. So it's 11 a.m. And how long do I want it for? Well, I'm going to have it for about 10 minutes. So we're going to do the same exact thing again, and we're all set. So now we have both zones are lit up. Zone 2 and 3, those are the zones that are active. You'll know that because it's gonna show zone 2 and 3. This zone is not lit and this zone is not lit. That means that those zones aren't on. It's gonna show the start time for each zone. And you can see it actually scrolling through right now. So the next time is at 10 a.m. zone 2. And for zone 3, the next time is 11 a.m. So just real quick, I wanted to show you that it's very important to write a chart up, because then you'll know what time, what zones you have your yard set for. Here's my front yard. Front half of the yard is zone 2. The back half of my front yard is zone 3. And then you can see the different times that I have. Cycle A is 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. And for about 10 to 15 minutes. Zone 3 is the back half, cycle A, B, and C. 11 a.m., 2:30, and 6:30, and 10, 15, and 10. So you can make up your own zones, your own times, and I would suggest writing them down so you know what water is going off where. In my case, because I have 2 different timers, one in the front and one in the back. So I've got, in essence, I've got zone 2 and 3 in the front, and I've got 3 zones in the backyard. So that's 5 total zones with 3 cycles each. So you're looking at almost 15 different cycles. So you really want to write them down. Otherwise it can get really confusing. But it is really rewarding because you know you have peace of mind. Your water turns on when it wants to turn on. It turns off when you want it to turn off. And you have good coverage because each one, if you set it up, you're not losing pressure because they're not all on at the same time. I hope you enjoyed the video. Any questions, just tag me at the bottom and I'll try to answer them. Thank you.